So this is okay. Um, as long as uh, you get a high excitement rating with your intensity rating, like they're both high, that's fine. If the excitement rating is like medium and the intensity rating is like extra high or ultra high or something like that, you might want to redesign your coaster so that it's a little less um, intense. And a couple quick things of how to get higher excitement rating. Number of drops adds more excitement rating. Ride time will increase it a little bit. Um, and obviously, lots of turns. It's just kind of, you kind of learn to get good excitement ratings just from playing quite a bit. But in some of the more advanced coasters, you'll get high excitement ratings with like inversions and corkscrews. But you want to be careful because you don't want to have inversions and corkscrews and stuff at really high speeds, or even, do anything at a really high speed. Um, and another way you can lower your intensity and nausea ratings on roller coasters is try to use banked corners as opposed to these flat corners. Um, and I can get away with it when I go up this hill doing a flat corner like this because um, actually, I'm just going to open it while I'm talking about this. I can get away with it because um, it's going at a low speed, but if I took, for example, like one of these corners not banked at a high speed, it's a lot of lateral G's, and the lateral G's are just gonna, that's just gonna be really intense, so try not to do those. I'm just gonna kind of snake this along to increase the queue length. And there seems to be a tree in the way, so I'm going to get rid of him. And then go ahead and connect up the queue. And I did that before anyone could say they couldn't get to the ride, so that's good. And hopefully, yeah, everything's good. Hopefully people will ride it. If not, if people aren't riding your rides, if people aren't riding any of your rides, which I can kind of see, maybe this merry-go-round, people aren't riding it. So I'm going to look at this. Mostly people are saying they want to go on something more thrilling, so that's okay. This haunted house, let's see. Uh, yeah, this looks good. You're gonna get a lot of people that just want to go on more intense rides than your general rides, so you can't really help that. But what you can look out for is you can see. Actually, this is a really good way to look at it. You can go to satisfaction, or you can go to profit, or you can look at popularity. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can use and look at. These are all going to be indicators of whether or not you should change the price of your ride. So right now at $1, there are people riding both these. I'm fine with that. As soon as people are not riding them, I'm going to try and lower the prices so people start riding them. And yeah, people are riding my roller coaster, so that's good. I'm going to leave it at $2 until people start to say it's too expensive. You can go in here and you can just look at what people are thinking about the ride, and if people say they can't afford it or they're not paying that much to go on that ride, then you can just, as soon as you see that, go in and lower the price so that more people will ride it. And ultimately, you're going to make a lot more money from your admissions to the park. So I'm going to go ahead and raise this to $15 now. Yeah, you're going to make way more money from the admissions to your park than you're going to make off the rides. And once people are in your park, they're going to spend, so much money to get into the park, and then they're going to spend the rest of their money on rides. So the better way to do it is to have a high entrance fee that's fair, not too high, but a higher entrance fee, and then really cheap rides, and that way people will stay in your park for a really long time and keep riding your rides. The latter, if you have really expensive rides, you can have a cheaper entrance fee, but people are still going to say that they're not paying that much for the ride, even if they didn't pay very much to get in the park. So I think overall in the long run you're just going to want to raise your park entrance fee over time and decrease your ride costs over time. If you want, you can even make your rides free, and that way your guests will stay in your park as long as they're happy. Because if they're unhappy, that's pretty much the only thing that's going to make them leave your park. So, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it at this point. I'm gonna save my park real quick, and then I'm gonna come back to you guys after I've done a little bit more, and then just tell you what I've done. I'll probably check in September or so, and then in September, maybe build a few more rides, and then the park should be over in October. So I'll check with you guys in then. Alright, hey again, it is now September of year one. I think the audio cut out there at the end of that last segment, but basically all I was saying was that I was gonna make some updates to the park, and then check back in after I'd done them and just tell you what I'd done. As you can see, quite a bit has changed since then. I think I started out with just the swinging ship, the merry-go-round, the haunted house, and this wooden roller coaster here. Probably the biggest thing is I added a whole bunch of trees and scenery to all my rides so that it increases the excitement rating, and it just kind of adds to the aesthetics of the park. It makes it a better looking park in my opinion. So that's the whole park. That's as far as I've gone. I don't know if I'm going to really add that much more because I've built just about every ride that I can make. So I'm just going to use this time to really quickly show you what I did. So yeah, after the swinging ship, I decided to build this this Ferris wheel and this slide right here in this little section inside of my loop. And they seem to be doing pretty well. I'm charging $1 for them, and it seems like people are riding them. So my merry-go-round, people are saying they don't want to pay that much to go on it anymore, so I'll drop it down to 50 cents, and hopefully people will start going on it. I bet the same thing for the haunted house. Yeah, people are starting to say they don't want to pay that much, so I'll drop it down to 50 cents as well. The slide, I'm just going to drop down to 50 cents. I'm sure people are... Well, it looks as though people aren't saying that yet, but I'll just be ready for it. And the Ferris wheel you can also drop down. This is something that you just kind of do as your park goes along. You're not really going to make money on these rides because, you know, they're not really big thrill seekers and all that, and so there's not really any sense in charging, you know, high dollar for them. Maybe at the start you can get away with it because people will pay. People will pay the price for the ride when it's new and it's exciting, but as it gets older, it just kind of loses its entertainment value. So you just kind of have to lower the prices as you go. People are still riding this roller coaster, and that makes me happy. I kind of filled every little gap in with some sort of tree. And I tried to be creative, but it's kind of all the same trees really, but there's a little bit of color in there, I guess. So yeah, my roller coaster's doing pretty good so far. And the queue length, sometimes if you see that people are filling up your queue and you think that people are maybe they're not happy waiting in queue as long as they are, you can shorten your queue, and all you have to do is go in here, and I could just delete like queues, just replace the path by building right over the top of it. Like right there is 1 and 2 and so on, and I may as well do that. But actually I'm not going to do that yet because I prefer to have the queue go all the way to here, and that way people that come into my park right at the entrance, they'll see that and have a chance to look at it, rather than if you just had a couple paths going off like this. People will, you know, they'll either go down that path or they'll go past it, and you want them to definitely at least see the entrance to it so you have a chance of getting to go on your ride. And that's why I kind of did that with all of these. I have the queues facing the main path on the majority of these. Some of them I didn't quite do it, like this I didn't do that, but yeah, so I've talked about those